So this project is going to be something that the whole art department is doing. So we have over 500 art students, and all of them are going to be doing some version of what we're doing. The project is every student in every classroom, whether it's metals or drawing and painting or crafts or whatever, are going to have 4-inch by 4-inch squares. And you're going to be doing something with that related to one of the colors of the rainbow. And then at the end, everybody will have all of these different squares that are related to a color. And in Appleton Public Library, the new one that just opened up, we're going to put these all together so that all of the reds are together, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, purples. So it'll be kind of an installation that we're putting up in the library. So this is a little bit different than what we usually do. Because we're in ceramics class, our tiles are going to be made out of clay, obviously. So what I did is I took the normal project that I start with, and I'm just modifying it to fit this new thing. So what we're looking at isn't going to be exactly what we're doing here, but it's going to be modified in ways I'm going to tell you about right now. So it's going to be a textured slab. I'm going to come around once I'm done telling you what's going on, and everyone's going to pick a color. One of the colors of the rainbow. That's your color. From that color, you're going to decide on a word that you're going to put on this. The words should be roughly related to your color. However, we all don't want the same thing. Like if everyone that chooses the word orange uses pumpkin, it's going to be boring. So it does not have to be obvious choice. I mean, you could do purple could be like galaxy, or it could even be something like energetic, or words that, kind of don't exactly match one for one with the color. In fact, I kind of encourage that so we all don't have the same words. So let your brains kind of get free with what other color and what word you choose. When you think of a word, though, the tiles that we're using are kind of small, and you're going to be taking a slab and cutting out the letters and kind of slipping and scoring them on your tile. So if you have a word that's 10 letters long, it probably would be very difficult to fit on there. So just keep it in mind to keep it, a reasonable length word. So let me just show you what we're doing today. For those of you that are kind of new to my class, I told you every project we start with a pre-project in which we're brainstorming and coming up with ideas. So that's what we're starting with today. This can be found under our Canvas tile under modules, and you'll just see pre-project texture slab. So this was what we did in the past, where they were not limited to a square, and so they would cut out a shape with their letter or their word. So this was ice. This person did fragile, but it was kind of in a heart shape. French fries. So you are going to do something similar, but yours will be on a square. You will have a word, and you can also cut out shapes and put them on your tile. And you can also cut away so it's negative space into your tile. Something like, here's some of the finished products. Like here for sweet, they did a honeycomb with a lot of different textures, the word sweet, and some of the letters they just cut away so it was negative space. So you can play with that, where some of them are cut away, maybe you add a layer, and play with that kind of, it gives it a little bit of depth when you're thinking about this. So, for the pre-project, what I'm looking for is you're going to be doing 2 different sketches. I always have you do 2 sketches. I always get pushback because everybody thinks that their first idea is always unbeatable, but I want you to go past your first thought, and you'll have 2 sketches, and then you'll choose, when we get time to actually make this, you're going to choose the one you like and then execute that one. So for your sketches, things I want you to think about. Textures. We want to have a balance of texture and smoothness. This one has a lot of texture and a little bit of smoothness in the letters. It's worked out fine. This one has some texture in the background, but you're going to think about what kind of textures might be on yours. Here we have some kind of linear textures with some smooth areas. You're going to think about the textures that might go along with yours, and you're going to find a balance between the things that you leave smooth and the textures that you might use. So that'll be part of your pre-project. Obviously the word, you're going to do a sketch and have the word going across it. Make sure it's in like a bubble letter form, not just kind of written out. So your font ideas, maybe shapes you want to put on there. Obviously the color ideas, you know the color. And the size, we know this time. Textures and how it all relates. Now, when you are doing it, your color, we're using an underglaze. And an underglaze is a little bit different in so far as it's matte at first. So there will be options where if you have blue, where you can put blue on certain areas, and then some areas will leave matte, and some areas, if you want, like you have a shape that you might want to put a glossy coat over. So there will be that kind of difference too. You can have matte and gloss, and you can play with those two things. The other thing you could do with your color is you could add white or a little bit of black to it so that it's not all just this pure blue. It could be lighter shades of blue, darker shades of blue. Basically, at the end of the day, if I have your finished tile and I hold it way over here and everyone can't really see the details, they'll still be able to know what color it is. It's kind of like an overwhelming bluish, it's in the blue family. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's what we're doing today. I gave you a piece of sketch paper. On that sketch paper, you'll put 2 4-inch by 4-inch squares, one for each idea. There's rulers over there that you'll be able to use to do that. And then we're just going to sit and try to come up with creative words, going past our first idea. Right over there, I pulled out a lot of different drawers. Each one of those drawers is filled with different texture stamps that you can use. So there's literally probably 1,000 stamps over there, or 1,000 textures you could choose from. So I would encourage you to go over there and look through that to see what you might want as your textures. And all of that information, if you are somebody that really cares about your grade, all of that information needs to be on here. When I look at your pre-project, I should not have to ask you any questions about what you're doing. It should be very obvious. You can write little notes about, this is going to be cut out or this is going to be added on. I'm going to do a glossy finish here. I'm going to do a matte finish here, etc., etc. But when I look at it, it should be very obvious, and I should not need you next to me saying, well, it's actually not going to be this font. It's going to be, and it should all be on there. So I'm asking you to make really thorough brainstorming ideas. I'm asking you to go past your first idea. This is a very difficult concept, with high schoolers, but I want you to kind of push that, and I want to make sure that it's just all laid out perfectly for both sketches. If you were to do that, then you'll achieve the full points. Usually my pre-projects are worth 4 points, and the final project are worth 12 points. So it's about a third of the overall. Does that make sense? Yeah. So they are worth it, and that's why I give you at least 2 days to kind of, let new ideas come in, research ideas, and just kind of really come up with a nice finished, solid plan of attack, so that Monday when we come and we start getting in the clay, you know exactly what you're going to be doing. It's all there for you. Does that make sense? 4-inch squares. The actual squares that you're going to be cutting are actually going to be bigger than 4 inches. The reason that is because wet clay, while it dries, it shrinks a little bit. So the shrink rate percentage of the clay we use is about 11%. So it'll be about 11% bigger than the actual 4 inches, so that by the time it kind of shrinks down and we put it in the kiln, it'll be the 4 by 4 inches, just so you know. Okay, I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna have you just start choosing colors. Whatever you pull is your color. If there's somebody you know that's willing to do a 1-for-1 swap with the color, that's totally fine. But we just want to make sure that there's the same amount of each color so that when we're doing the thing we're doing, it's not like all red and just like a couple blue or something like that. So if you find someone at your table or whatever and you do a 1-to-1 swap, that's fine. You'll be writing the colors right down on your sketch paper. That's why you have them now, so you don't forget what color you're doing. All right.